far as, like Jonathan Taylor goes, Jonathan Taylor obviously being taken way later than he was in drafts this time last year. What would a run first system do for him? And what would a mobile quarterback do for him in Indianapolis?
Yeah, I think we've seen some, I don't want to say it's the most convincing evidence, but it seems generally that the mobile quarterback has a slightly depressing effect on a running back's pass catching prowess or pass catching production, and a slightly positive impact on their efficiency as a runner. To me, I think the one concern would be how much Anthony Richardson gets used at the goal line, as we saw with Jalen Hurts. Probably the most used quarterback at the goal line of the past 20 years, of my lifetime, essentially. Sure. No quarterback has been used more and been more effective at the goal line. So that would be the one concern. But I think even then, it's really not that big of a deal, because we've seen the past 2 years, the Eagles running backfield as a whole was 8th and 5th in purely rushing expected fantasy points. And I expect Taylor to outperform his expected fantasy points while also dominating his backfield. So the Eagles were a better team than in the past 2 years, and the Colts will probably be this year. But even if they're just pushing for an above average team and just the total amount of fantasy points their backfield specifically gets, Taylor is getting all of that. And there are so few running backs that can actually say, whatever my team, whatever they allot to the backfield, it's mine. No one else is getting it. So I wouldn't be too concerned even about the goal line stuff, just because of how talented he is. It's like making the Derrick Henry bet where the nerds he just can't keep getting away with it. And then this guy who's an Olympic level athlete who has disgusting highlight reels every week and plays the Texans a bunch, which will also apply to Jonathan Taylor. This guy just keeps getting there. That is very much in the vein of Jonathan Taylor. And we've seen these Shane Steichen backfields have a ton of value. It's just been one we haven't been too interested in the actual running backs. Sanders is fine, Gainwell's fine. These guys are fine. None of them are Jonathan Taylor. That dude's great. So I don't think it's really a big deal. I think the concerns might be overblown. And I'm not I'm one of these spreadsheet losers who typically doesn't draft Derrick Henry. And I think that's been a leak in my game. Same way with Nick Chubb can go out and get 1,800 yards on the ground because he's really good. And the bar to be a really good running back is very high. We don't have very many of them, where I think we have more receivers who we could consistently say yes. Devontae Adams, turns out with Derek Carr, he was just as good with Aaron Rodgers. We don't have as many running backs like that. But to say there are none of them, that we just all running backs are the same, I think that's a step that the nerds have gone a little bit far with. And we should probably be fine taking Jonathan Taylor. Maybe you don't want to be over your skis on him, but you can bet on talent and bet on the fact that this coach that's coming in has consistently produced a ton of value for his backfield. How it's been distributed, I don't think it applies too much in the past to how it's going to be in the future. It's going to be Taylor.
We need to be reined in. The spreadsheet warriors need to be reined in. And I have bet against Derrick Henry for so long. I actually stopped. I made myself stop betting against Derrick Henry last year. And I'm going to continue to not bet against Henry going forward. He could play until he's 52 years old. I'm still gonna bet.
I would draft Derrick Henry until he retires. Yeah, the Titans offense was one of the worst in the league, and he still ran for 1,500 yards. That's
incredible.